Welcome to Dirty AF, the podcast where we get down and dirty with dirt track racer Jason Brandes and his race crew. We'll go over highlights, lowlights, and everything in between. Sometimes you'll laugh, sometimes you'll cry, and there might even be times where you get downright angry with us. But in every episode, we hope that you are left with the desire to join us in getting dirty as... Welcome to the 5th episode of Dirty AF. I'm your host, Nicole Wilson, and it is the evening of June 3rd, and I am sitting here tonight after the Friday night races at Gravity Park with Jason Brandes and Jolly. We are now in the Brandesracing shop after the races. We just finished watching the feature video on the TV here. On the track tonight, Jason came in 5th in the heat race and 3rd in the feature. So what happened tonight?
Well, first, let me start by saying that sorry about the podcast and the YouTube video last week. We had all kinds of family stuff going on. Bob was in the hospital, whatever. We were in a rat race all week long.
Jolly had to get up at 2:30 in the morning to go to work on Saturday with the holiday. Right. Being in the beer business, I work on the holidays when everybody else gets off.
And I had to go relieve my sister at the lounge because we were slammed, and
right.
I had to go to work.
So last week was a tough week. So we apologize for not getting the videos out there and not getting the podcast out there. But last week we had a good run too. We finished 3rd last week too. So let's get to tonight. Tonight was such a good night. The heat race, I started, back towards the back again, whatever in the heat race. And driver error. I seen an opening. I tried to stuff the car in there. Probably got a little throttle happy. Spun it out. Whatever.
Positive, you missed the infield tire.
I missed all of the infield tires when I went screaming through there. FYI.
Means no repairs between heat race and feature.
But I seen one opening. I went for it. Found out, don't do that. So, one of them learning experiences. The feature, however.
Where did we start feature? Outside row 7.
Outside row 7 in the feature. And the car I can't thank Jolly enough right now. He put a setup in that car tonight that we had in the feature that was just phenomenal. That car did anything and everything I wanted it to do. I wanted to touch the throttle. The car said, okay, here we go. I wanted to turn the car. The car went, hey, yep, we're turning. Oh, wait, you're turning and throttling at the same time. We're good here. And it just, we started outside row 7 in the feature, and we finished 3rd. I couldn't be happier with what we had tonight.
No, to pick your way through the pack and to look at how the car responded. There was that one incident, where you had a little turned up where you had to stop. You had to kind of catch the brakes there on that turn 1 there. You got a little banged around and there's some dents. I was a little worried. I thought that our new tire on the back right rear was going to take a beating there. It had some sheet metal bent up, and I was just hoping it wasn't rubbing, which thank God it didn't. But yeah, other than that, I watched you race it, and I felt watching you race that car tonight, you were like, I could see the confidence in the car as you were driving it, and as the laps went, you picked off a car, picked off another car, and you just kept driving it harder and harder and harder. And it's like, well, it's still doing what I want it to do. And the confidence that you had in my setup, and I could just watch you as that race progressed. Like you would run going into 3, you were on the throttle a little longer than you would have been before. Like you could tell that you knew the car was hooked up, which I thought was awesome, because it's like, oh, finally I did it right.
The car was great. Like I honestly, I could not argue. And you're right. As that race progressed tonight, I laid back in the weeds for a little while, just kind of hanging out. 22 car field. 22 car field, and you roll off outside row 7. Well, what do you do? I mean, we don't want to wreck shit, you know, we don't want to break stuff.
You want to do it cleanly. I mean, I watched a few times.
You know, I had to walk down. I had to walk down after the race. I had to walk down. I apologized to Parker, and I apologized to Peyton Miller. Like, I'm sorry I got underneath you as hard as I did, but this is where my car wanted to be. It was hooked up down there. You couldn't hold it down there. So when I got under you, if I came out and I was rubbing you a little bit, I was rubbing you a little bit. But that rubbing part is racing. Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
it was one thing. It's one thing to slam into somebody. It's one thing to literally take somebody out. But our car rolled so well tonight. It was great. And I'll apologize on this podcast again. Like, I didn't mean to get into you, but if you can't hold it there, then move. Find a different line to run. Like, we talk about this all the time, and we hear about it all the time, is when you're racing, you know what line your car is going to drive. If you don't know your car is going to drive that line, find a different one. But 5 laps into that feature, I knew what line my car was going to drive, because I flirted with the top for a little bit. That was a no bueno situation. So I stuck it right back tight to the bottom, which we are very good at a bottom setup. We know that.
You always like the bottom, and I try to set the car up.
I mean, I love the bottom, but I do love the bottom. People call me a bottom feeder because I love the bottom so much. But the difference is we make the car work so well on the bottom. If you can't make your car work that good on the bottom, move somewhere else.
Well, and I'm
that guy where I'm not going to wreck somebody because my car's that much better on the bottom.
Well, and you watch
I'll just hang out there.
When we were just rewatching the feature race here on the thing, you could see where that one car, like, you could get to his back tire with your bumper and then you'd back off. And you did that for like 4 or 5, 6 laps because you're like, I wanted to get in the throttle sooner, but I couldn't because he was kind of there and I didn't want to take him out.
I don't want to take him out. And I don't want to hit him.
And like I said, I seen you come down the front stretch that time when you came out of 4 and Peyton was outside and I saw little sparks fly. You're right. Rubbin's a little bit racing. You were side by side. It wasn't like you were back corner. It wasn't like you were tagging her back bumper and trying to spin her around or anything like that. So, I mean, it happens. I mean, it is what it is when you
sometimes what it comes down to is the car that's faster coming out of the corner is going to win. So if I can turn my car harder into the bottom and still relate with the throttle coming out of it, I'm gonna beat you down the front stretch. I'm just gonna be a little harder on the brake when I get to 1 or 2 or 3 and 4. I'll be a little harder on the brake, but my car's still gonna sit there. And I'm gonna have the throttle to come out of it. And I learned that through that entire feature. It was a great car tonight. I think with 5 laps to go, I think you give me a caution, them 2 in front of me are in trouble. That's how good that car was.
You know, I have to say too, watching the video, I wasn't there tonight, and usually watching the video, it's not that exciting to me. But this was a good, like, I'm sad I wasn't there tonight because that was a good race.
It was. I've been complimented by numerous people of how good of a race it was. And it was a great race. It was.
And I just want to mention too that if you want to check out our races, the Brandesracing YouTube channel, we usually post our heat and feature races, which we didn't do last week along with the podcast, but This one will be out there, Brandis Racing on YouTube.
And I'm sorry, the live feed for the Brandis Racing team for the heat race tonight.
This is why you turn wrenches and not.
Yes, I'm the crew chief. I turn wrenches. I'm not the IT person. The IT person sitting to my right, otherwise known as my sweetheart, Nicole, had to work. So I tried. I guess it went to my personal page and not the Brandis Racing page.
We'll get it on
So
the YouTube channel.
it's out there. I shared it to Mom. Hopefully she can fix it.
But let's just take a step back because apparently Zitzer was pissed off at us tonight because apparently we were running into him, I guess. We've watched this video twice now. And I don't think I touched him.
I didn't see a spot where it happened.
What I did see was him ass packing us down the backstretch.
Yeah, a couple
Or
times.
coming into 3.
Whenever you would have to check up for that car that was in front of you for the longest time for like 5-6 laps.
Yep.
He'd be tagging your back bumper. And
I gave you
back
a warning
bumper looks
last
like it
year.
too.
Not FYI, Mike, if you listen, just so you know,
You might want to take note.
I know a guy,
and
and
fix that problem this week, just so you know.
And like I said, for as bad now last week or 2 weeks ago, I know you were.
oh, the DNF.
We were wound up in our heat race with all the banging and bumping and the crap that went on and all the bent up metal and all that. And you know, like tonight, I thought overall as a race, it was pretty good. Like I said, there's a little rubbing and there's some scraping and there's some stuff that goes on, but as a whole, I felt like the race was a little cleaner. I'm not sure what happened with the 119 car and who turned what happened with Binky and I don't remember the other car number that was involved in that first caution when you got ass packed really hard when you had to check up so you didn't freaking nosedive that poor car that was spun around and facing you.
Well, that was kind of awkward situation there.
But it was like you come around one and all of a sudden it's like, oh shit. And I know you jammed on the brakes to avoid it and somebody
I
pounded you pretty
hit
hard.
the brakes so hard right there, I almost snubbed the car out.
Yeah. So
I was like, oh shit.
you know, I get things happen in them moments because, you know, it's a reactionary thing because all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, this is going on. I don't want to T-bone somebody in the driver door. You don't want to take them head to head. Like you're doing everything to save your car and not hurt anybody else. And shit happens, you know, that back bumper might got a little extra bent up tonight from that, but as a whole, I thought the race as a whole, for as packed up as that group in the middle, it was like you, Zitzer, Parker, Gundrum was here tonight. That's the first time I think he raced this year since last year when he was here all the time.
He's been running Beaver Dam and down south. That's what
But
he's
tonight,
been doing.
but tonight was the first night back up at Gravity since
Yep,
last year.
yep.
You know, and having that group of guys there and even Banky and all them, I mean, there was a pretty tight knit pack that rode around that track
There was
together.
good
And
competition.
yeah, but it was
that-
clean. It
that's
was
what-
clean, fun racing. Like it
Sure.
wasn't.
Sure.
I mean, there's numerous times where you see a guy could have that edge and nudge your ass in and spin you out, but guys were backing off. I mean, even with you with that car that I don't remember if it was 52 or 54 or whatever. I mean, he was fast, but not quite as fast, but he was enough that he
gave you
couldn't,
problems.
yeah, you couldn't blow by him, but you know, it was a good race and everybody involved for the most part, I thought did a very nice job of just racing the track and the guys and not imposing your wheel, banging and beating off everybody and shoving people out of the way. And, you know, it's funny because, you know, the whole 4 cylinders before us tonight for the first time, which really annoys me a little bit, but
yeah, we know.
then they had a black flag and I mean, they had a red flag before it even finished the lap. They had a red flag. They had like 4 other cautions. Then the last lap of the race, one guy punted another guy into the wall and they get black flagged and this other guy wins. There's 8 cars in the middle and there are people getting out of the cars. And I made the comment, I'm like, come on, let's go. We got another race here. I'm just waiting for us to race. Like my nerves are on edge.
And I had to pee pretty bad again sitting in
And
lineup.
my nerves are at, you know, I'm like, I want to see how this car is doing. We're starting row 7. Like we haven't started that bar back in a while, you know. I'm like, come on, I want to see how this car does. It's like, come on, you know, there's another race here tonight. And then the people in the crowd that are big 4-cylinder people were all mad. You know, I'm like, I made the comment. I'm like, you know, there is a race after this, not like normal. I said, you guys can play all your games all you want, but we do have another race to finish here tonight. And this one lady goes, oh, really?
I want to bring this to a point since we're going to talk about it. Why is it the 4-cylinder guys who are racing for $150 to win get teched harder
than any other class?
Than any other class?
I don't know.
Why does that happen?
Because there's more guys, there's more complaints, there's more bitching, there's more dirty driving. There's a whole lot of things when you. I mean, we never watched them normally. I mean, by necessity, I had to tonight because they were on before we were.
But I want you to think about something. I'm going to tell you this straight up. I'm going to tell you right now. Zitzer hung out behind us for one reason and one reason only tonight. Rumors.
Yeah, because of the rumor.
Rumors.
Yeah.
Don't worry, guys. We have the money. We'll claim you anytime we want. But I'm going to tell you right now, you put a rumor in somebody's head like that, they change the way they drive. They change the way they race. Next week, he'll have a piece of shit carburetor on his fucking car. I guarantee it. I don't care. Because I won't stop at a carburetor. I'll take your fucking shocks. I'll take your fucking brakes. I'll take your fucking motor. Don't care. We have unified street stock rules for a reason.
Correct.
Play by them or get claimed.
But at this point, I mean, when we raced at 141, the tech, when we race up at the hill, the tech, they tech so much different. And, you know, the tech here is not
what it should be.
I mean, you get scaled at the hill, you get scaled at 141. You don't even get scaled here. You don't get, I mean, the tech, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's the same guy from last year, a new guy. I don't even know what they look for. I guess I don't know. But when there isn't that kind of sophistication in the tech, that's what
absolutely.
But that's what the claimer rule's there for, is to protect the integrity of the sport.
Yep.
And we can't be afraid to use it if that's our means to make sure that everybody's playing fair. Now you go to 141, you know, you hear about guys getting pumped in their motors and they're
12.5 to 1.
Yeah, because they're over compression ratings, whatever. There's things going on. I know last year that tech guy we had, you know, we had some guys coming in with illegal shock placements or spring or spacers or whatever. You know, there's some guys that got DQ'd last year. Now I don't know where we are this year. I don't know if it's a new guy. I don't really care. But the claimer rule is there for the unified street stocks for a reason. So guys don't spend more money than the average guy to become bigger, faster, better at the cost of not following the rules.
We have rules for a reason.
And if we got a claim, I know a guy that
I know a couple of them.
I got a sponsor or two in the back pocket yet.
Yeah, right.
That we can use just for claimer if that's what it takes. Play fair. That's all we're asking. Play fair.
Let's think about this. We've raced 6 weeks, right?
Yep.
We have 2 heat race wins. We have a third, a DNF because of temperature reasons, a third. Wait, well, so there's a 5th in there somewhere.
There's a 5th, I think. 2nd week or 3rd week, I don't remember.
And a third. And we are 100% legal to the book.
The problem is I have a problem is the guy that's taken first 2 out of 3 weeks that didn't win a feature all last year. And now all of a sudden he's won 2 out of 3.
Yeah, you know.
And then when you hear his buddy got busted at 141 for being over compression and they got the same engine builder, what does that tell you?
Exactly. Not that we're throwing stones.
But
I'm going to throw stones and say, sit back and wait, boys.
There's
We'll take our legal motor and we're gonna whoop your ass.
I mean, but what changed? All of a sudden, how do you win? How do you not win a race in the 3 years that we've been racing at 2.5 years? Well, 2 years possibly that we've been racing at Gravity. Never won a heat or feature race and wins 2 out of the last. Well, 2 out of the last 4 after tonight.
2 out of the last 5. No, 2 out of 6 because we're 6 weeks.
Well, true, but I'm saying from the first one, then he didn't. He took second, then he took first.
Is what it is.
Like
We sit back and do our thing like we always do.
you know.
Because it's not the amount of wins
So what?
you have, it's our consistency.
But honestly, dude, what changed to allow him to win 2 feature races, take second in another one from last year to this year? What, the absence of Matt Warner? I mean, that's not the only reason.
You're right, there's a lot more to it than that. But we have a silent guy that comes around every once in a while, and he won a championship one year, and he only won 1 feature. We don't need to win them. We just need to stay consistent. And as long as we do that,
That DNF don't
well,
help, but
it doesn't help.
it was still better than the trading blow from last year.
Okay, let's not talk about this. Let's wrap this up. Thanks everybody for listening. We appreciate you following and supporting.
And once again, sorry about last week. There was just a whole lot of things with
There was too much going on.
our
We couldn't get
IT
it done.
girl, us. We couldn't get together at the same time. I had to work at 2:30 in the morning, and there's a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah, so we apologize for that, but let's wrap this up so we can go back to drinking beer and probably watch that feature race a couple more times. yet
Just at
tonight.
least one more time.
All right, and you can catch that on the Brandes Racing YouTube page. Thank you guys for sharing this all with us, and all of our listeners out there for listening, showing us such amazing support while we're out here doing what we love. New episodes of Dirty AF are released on Tuesdays and on all your favorite platforms. Be sure to subscribe where you are listening so you don't miss an episode. And just a reminder that we want everyone here listening to come join us in person Friday night at Gravity Park in Chilton, Wisconsin. The pit gates open at 3, spectator gates open at 5, and the races start at 7. We'll see you then. Thank you. You have been listening to Dirty AF, the podcast with the Brandes Racing crew. Join us again next week where we will once again be getting dirty as